You hear some horror stories that, people are just throwing stuff around, breaking, all this crazy stuff. So
General Giant's centrally owned from our headquarters in Massachusetts. So all of our guys are General Giant employees. So anybody that touches any of your furniture along the way is going to be a fully vetted, full-time General Giant employee.
now, if I'm looking for a moving company, what are some of the things that I should be looking for?
First thing to look for, and this will go for anything, check the company's website. Obviously, that's how most people are going to find it these days. Check the website, see how it looks. You get a general feel for how they conduct business. We can basically move anything. So if you think about it, anything, you need to have a piece of furniture in your home, you need to go somewhere else, we can do it. We can hoist furniture. If something doesn't fit, you're in a row house in Philadelphia, your sofa won't fit up the stairs, we can do that. We can do baby grand pianos, grandfather clocks, high-end artwork, you name it.
If somebody does a great job, like what is the formula? I want to give somebody a tip because, hey, you did a nice job. Welcome to the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez, where we talk everything real estate. Today, my guest is Andrew Razzi from Gentle Giant Moving Company. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Pat, thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Great. Okay, so I always start off the shows by asking about how'd you get started in real estate, but in this case, tell me the story about the moving company and how did you get involved with Gentle Giant?
Sure. So Gentle Giant was founded in Boston in 1980. Founder was Larry O'Toole. He was working a job as an engineer at the time. He is the Gentle Giant. He's about 6'6". He's a soft-spoken, very kind person. And he wanted to make some extra money, decided to, his entrepreneurial spirit kicked in. He wanted to do this full-time. That's how we got our start. I began with the company in 2003.
Okay.
I had graduated. I was working my first job out of college. I was working at an insurance company, and just the daily grind in the office 9 to 5 wasn't for me. I had some friends who were working at Gentle Giant. They recommended it. We offer our employees a flexible schedule. It sounded right. So my summer job for 2003 turned into, 23 years later, here I am.
Okay, so you said it started in Boston. So how many states are you in? How large of a company, is it?
Sure. So Gentle Giant has now 21 offices in 12 states. I began in Boston. We're all over New England. That's our primary hub.
Right.
So we're in, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. I moved with the company to our DC office in 2011, and then when our Philadelphia office opened in 2015, I came up here. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, Fort Lauderdale, Brooklyn, and on the West Coast we have Seattle, San Francisco, and in the last 2 years we opened up our Phoenix regional office.
Okay, so if somebody's moving out of state, that's not going to be a problem because you have offices, all over the place, right?
We've got a national reach,
right.
And the way we've done it, we're an independent company. If you look into moving, you'll see there's some van line operators, things like that, franchise opportunities. Gentle Giant's centrally owned from our headquarters in Massachusetts, so all of our guys are Gentle Giant employees. So anybody that touches any of your furniture along the way is going to be a fully vetted, full-time Gentle Giant employee.
Right.
So in the way we're doing it, you're able to get sort of a local feel, but we still have a national reach. So we've got a lot of resources across the country, a lot of experience built into our network, and we hire a lot of our people from within. So a lot of the higher-ups of the company, from the regional managers up to the current CEO, the new CEO,
right.
Started on the trucks. So we do a lot of our hiring that way, and keeps the business consistent.
Right, absolutely, because you understand. If you're moving furniture, you're dealing with the people. You're on the front lines. You understand that. So yeah, that's much. Well, in my opinion, it is better.
It's a great way to learn the business.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so some of the services that you offer, and then I'm going to ask some questions about move-in and do's and don'ts and all that kind of stuff. But do you have a facility to store furniture? Do you pack for people? What services other than physically move in furniture?
Yeah, so in Philadelphia, right now we just have a dispatch location. We haven't gotten our full-time warehouse yet. We can bring some stuff. If it's an interstate move, it's called storage in transit. If you're moving, across state lines, it's going to be more than 30 days. We'll keep it for you. We can arrange for that locally. Most of our offices have their own storage facilities, so it's something that we can handle. Even in our Philadelphia office, we can take care of that. We can basically move anything. So if you think about it, anything, you need to have a piece of furniture in your home, you need to go somewhere else, we can do it. We can hoist furniture. If something doesn't fit, you're in a row house in Philadelphia, your sofa won't fit up the stairs, we can do that. We can do baby grand pianos, grandfather clocks, high-end artwork, you name it.
Right. Okay. Very good. And then if you do have some of these more delicate, type of items, I guess, the cost goes up a little bit on those or no?
So it's not broken out as a separate charge. So it'll be included in your hourly estimate. If you're doing a local move, it'll be an hourly estimate. We'll just need to account for the time it takes to break down a grand piano and set it back up. You're looking at probably 45 minutes of work per end. So our sales team will factor that in.
Okay, so since we're talking pricing, that was going to be a question that I had. So it's an hourly rate, is what I'm hearing. So it's not like, hey, I'm moving this room to another room in another house. It's just more, hey, how many hours is it going to take to do that? Is
Correct.
that the deal?
And most moving companies operate in the same way. So if you're comparing quotes, you should be able to do an apples-to-apples comparison. If you're doing a local move, so within 40 miles of your home base,
right,
staying local to Philly, going out to the suburbs, you'll get an hourly quote. For our interstate moves, if you're moving here to California, obviously it'll be a flat rate quote. It's weight-based, and again, you'll be able to see a kind of an apples-to-apples comparison. If you get a second quote, a third quote, you'll be able to kind of compare where the prices differentiate.
Okay. Now, if I'm looking for a moving company, what are some of the things that I should be looking for? Like, is there a website, BB&B, Better Business Bureau, those type of things? Like, where would I know? Because you hear some horror stories that, people are just throwing stuff around, breaking, all this crazy stuff. So where do I go for that information?
Sure.
And what should I be looking for?
Sure. First thing to look for, and this will go for anything. Check the company's website. Obviously, that's how most people are going to find it these days. Check the website, see how it looks. You'll get a general feel for how they conduct business. You can always check the Better Business Bureau. It's a great resource. They'll flag anything if someone's got complaints against them through the Better Business Bureau.
Right.
Definitely check in. If you make contact with a company, check that they have a license number in Pennsylvania. It's done through the Public Utilities Commission. So you'll have a PUC license number. They should have that available so you can guarantee that you're getting a legitimate mover.
Right. And then, of course, reviews and things like that, right?
Of course. We focus a lot on Google reviews. We'll ask our customers, if things go well, we hope to hear about it on Google. So you'll see a lot of companies. If you see what's a small company in a small town and they have 2,000 reviews, that might be a sign that they're farming those out.
Right.
But definitely check, 5-star reviews. You'll see, check for negative reviews as well.
Right.
An honest company will keep up the ones, you might have a response from the owner or somebody that says, we apologize, please contact quality control. But you'll see most companies now are using a lot of Google reviews, relying on it pretty heavily. So you should have some presence there as well.
Okay. Now, I'm getting ready to move. What are some tips when you move? Or are there things you could do to, hold down the cost a little bit? So what are some of those? Because I know on my side, on the lending side, hey, if you're moving, I have people who pack all their stuff and then, hey, we need your taxes or we need something. Like, I don't know what box it's in,
Yep.
So, but what are, beyond that, what are, some suggestions or some tips,
Sure.
when you go to move? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. The best thing you can do, be thorough when you're going through your estimate. We'll offer clients when they're looking to move can get a phone estimate done if they want a little bit more sense of peace of mind. We can also come out and do an on-site estimate, so go through your house, see everything you've got. Can be a little bit more accurate if you're nervous about it.
Okay, hold on. So how do you do like a on-phone estimate? Like, I could turn around and say, I need to move like one room, whatever, and then there's like 20 million things in that room.
Sure. So this is why I say to be thorough, because I think a lot of times people will overlook if they have a collection or something. They have albums in the basement, or they have a crafts room or something.
Right.
So be as thorough as you can, and we'll try to be as honest as possible and upfront with your estimate, what we think is the general cost. So the more information we have up front, the easier it is. Our sales team will sort of prompt you with questions. If something seems a little fishy, you mentioned that you have china in your dining room and a set of china in your kitchen, and maybe you have another set of grandma's china in the basement. These things start to add up. That may be a time where we'll suggest possibly getting someone out on site.
Okay. So of course you always have the on-site deal. Okay. And now when somebody comes out on site, those estimates, they're free?
The estimate's free, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, is there any like cost overruns or anything like you go like if you go out on site, obviously you're accountable for your estimate, right?
Of course.
Okay, because over the phone that could be two different things. You walk in there and say, well, buddy, you didn't tell me about this room.
Yeah.
You're a waiter, for God's sakes, Okay, so but other than that communication and make sure you be as thorough as possible. Is there any other type of tips that you could have? Go ahead.
So I always use the analogy of painting a room. Most people have painted a room in their house. When you come in with the rollers and get the room painted, that's what the movers are doing, right? That's pretty quick and easy. The prep work comes and taking the light sockets off, getting the tape up and everything. That's what takes the most time. If you can be as thorough as possible in the lead up and get everything packed. So when you walk into a room, there's not a lamp on the nightstand. There's not, picture frames out on the dresser. Get all of that stuff packed. For people that have access to their new home prior to move day, anything that you can move over, if you can take down pictures, lampshades, artwork, anything that you can fit in your car to move over, anything that you can do to save time on an hourly estimate is going to save you money.
Right, because it's hourly. So if you have tchotchkes left out, then it's going to take longer to throw stuff in a box and that kind of thing, and tick tock, the clock's ticking. Okay. Okay. So now another question that I know I have and others have as well. If somebody does a great job, like what is the formula? If you want to give somebody a tip because hey, you did a nice job.
Yeah, absolutely. We get this question all the time. A lot of times we'll say as a quick reference, there's a couple ways to look at it. If you do a half day of work, you're maybe looking at $50 per man. If they do a full day of work, $50 to $100. You can base it as a percentage, say 10 to 15% of the labor cost. So when you look at your final bill, or if you're looking at the estimate, take off things like parking permits and materials. Don't add that in. Just look at the hourly rate. 10 to 15% usually works out to about the same. We also say if you're really into the math, you want to do $5 to $10 per man per hour. So if you have, a 3-man crew for, break it down that way. Those three things kind of work out to the same. They come out to roughly equivalent.
Okay, and then just let's say I have a 3-bedroom house. If we're talking about super general number, because obviously you don't know how much furniture one would have, and I'm just going across town, so it's local. What does that generally run?
So
a ballpark,
and I think we're fairly competitive. We're kind of middle of the road with our pricing in Philadelphia. You're looking at, if you have a 3-bedroom house, we might get 4 guys on it. If it's a townhouse, maybe it's a little bit less. So we might have to do 3 guys. You're going to look. Most companies in the area are going to be between, let's say, $180 and $220 an hour. So if you get a couple of estimates, use that as a reference point. But that would be sort of the starting point.
Right.
If you're looking at a 3-man move to include, you're going to have the truck is included in the price of the move. The pads, the furniture, things like that are going to be included. Any sort of durable goods, you'll pay extra for materials like boxes, tape, mattress bags, things like that. And again, we'll be upfront with our pricing, so you can compare if you wanted to go pick up your own boxes at Home Depot.
Right. Okay, and then how many moves like you generally do in a course of a year?
Sure. In Philadelphia now, we're probably looking at about 500 to 600 moves in a year.
Okay.
Over the course of the year, it's broken down. We have an interstate department with General Giant, so often some of those moves are going to be us helping our interstate crew, whether they're coming in or going out of Philadelphia. Most of our local moves will probably be around 400 for the year.
Okay, and then company-wide?
Company-wide, General Giant does about 15 to 16,000 moves. So that's what we're looking at for 2025.
So you've done this maybe once or twice.
I've done it a couple times.
Okay, and then you guys were just nominated or got an award for Philadelphia? What was that?
Yeah, so we got Metro Philly's Best of in the Mover category, 2025.
Okay.
Our second time winning. We won it in 2023. Dropped the ball in 2024. I don't know what we did wrong, but we're back.
And then how long have you been in Philadelphia?
10 years. So we started.
So it's been a while. Okay.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Great. Now, if somebody wanted to get a hold of Gentle Giant, how would they do that?
Sure. Best way, gentlegiant.com. Again, I'd always point people towards the website. It gives a lot of information about what we do. If you want to just get on the phone with somebody and try to get an estimate as soon as you can, 267-606-4210.
Okay. Now, did I miss anything? Is there a question that I should have asked you, or like a typical question that somebody would ask when they're moving?
Wish I had a good answer to that. There's just be as prepared as you can, be as thorough as you can when you're trying to get your estimate. Understand, you're paying hourly for the move for the most part. If you're moving interstate, it's a little bit different. Check to make sure that you're dealing with a real company. It's a high overhead business. We've got to pay for trucks, storage, warehouse, facilities, labor. So if you get an estimate that seems pretty low, seems like how could you possibly pay these guys, based on that rate, it might be a sign that things are not up and up.
Right. Okay, great. Okay, so once again, congratulations on the award. I don't know what happened in 2024, though. We got to work on that one.
Trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out. And really appreciate you being on the show. Be sure, if anybody's out there is moving, you're a realtor out there, you want to do a referral, I've been around you guys now for like about a year or so in different meetings and things like that. So definitely recommend. Well, that's the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez. Be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, the show will air on YouTube, the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez. Remember, we talk everything real estate, no limits. Be sure to give me some likes, really helps the algorithm. I'm shooting for 50,000 subscribers. I'm a little bit over 43,000, so really help me out. Subscribe, share the show. Hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you next week.